10,000 years of culture.
いらっしゃいませ。大阪にようこそ。
718 AD, the Japanese offer sushi for the first time. 1800 AD, the Japanese create modern sushi. 1967, Las Vegas, Nevada. Sushi is perfected.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We're located at 4205 West Sahara Avenue. Or visit our Henderson location, just past Horizon Ridge.
Find the cure for Geritol Radio right here in Las Vegas.
The Sex and Money Show takes on cutting-edge topics, has the most interesting guests, and pursues timely topics.
The Sex and Money Show, perfect for Las Vegas and the world.
Join Len Connell for The Sex and Money Show.
Every weekday at high noon.
The Sex and Money Show.
I was up sometimes, silly.
It's 12 o'clock, Las Vegas. Time for Sex and Money with Len Connell, Legal Eagle Miller, and Dr. Maurice Gregory, Dr. G.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas, and welcome to the Sex and Money Show, KLAV 1230 AM Las Vegas, and rebroadcast on our sister station, VANR Vegas AllNet Radio. Also welcoming our streaming online visitors to www.klav1230am.com, as well as inviting you to text in your Skype comments to KLAV 1230 AM. Our lines are all also open. Give us a call, 702-731-1230. That's 731-1230. We have in studio today Len Connell, still not in his bat phones. We have Primetime Tim, but he did shave this morning, so that's a little bit of a better situation. Also on Friday, we have our legal segment with Legal Eagle Miller. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing great. Got some great news and it's not great news, but it's some updates to some promises I've been making over the last couple of weeks following two particular trials in Florida and some local news as well.
The popcorn trials.
Yes.
We got to give, before we start, we got to give chomps. You know, you guys are thinking I'm crazy, but we got to give chomps out to a guy who passed away today, who is ubiquitous. Nobody would remember who he is, but he passed away. Okay. NBC News. You remember Garrick Utley? Okay, he's the guy. Let me tell you what's weird about this guy, right? This guy worked for NBC News for 40 years, and anybody that's out there, he was always the pitch-in guy. So if whoever got sick on the nightly news, whoever got sick on the Today Show, whoever got sick on Meet the Press or whatever else, he was always the substitute guy. He never had his own show. Garrick Utley. You know, and you don't remember him. It's like, oh yeah, John Chancellor is sick, so Garrick Utley's here. Oh my God, Katie Couric's out, so Garrick Utley's got it handled, right? But this dude was the pitch-in guy over at NBC, the fill-in guy for over 40 years, and he passed away today at age 74. He must have had a great life. Never had hours, never had a work schedule, just kind of sat at the house.
He's kind of like got a contract for floating.
Floating. He was a floater.
He
was the NBC floater.
NBC floater. Wow.
I mean, I can see this guy, 7 o'clock in the morning, right? And he's like going, and he's got some hot chick in bed with him. And she goes, oh, Garrick, 7 o'clock in the morning. You want to have a little bit of morning delight? He says, yeah, baby, sounds good to me. And all of a sudden, hey, you got to get over the Today Show. John Chancellor is sick. I got it. I'm on it, man. Boom,
Yeah, he's like the 911 for emergency talk show hosts not being able to come in and do the job.
He was the fill-in guy, man, and I mean, we got a lot of fill-in guys over here at KLED that fill in for us when we're otherwise occupied. So we got to give chops. Nobody's going to do an obituary on this guy, man. He is just going to pass into history, man. So I just felt sorry for him.
Well, this is his obituary. We're giving him his obituary.
We're going to send this to NBC News, and we're going to say, hey, Garrick, you're probably out, 5 o'clock at night, find some hot chick in a dance club, 9 o'clock's in. You want to go over to my place, not yours? Oh, baby, I want to go with you right now. You know what? Late night news, guy sick, got to get in here, Garrick. Yes. I'm on it. Boom.
Well, with any luck, he's now the stand-in or the floater for some angels. So
exactly. He's the stand-in guy.
He's the stand-in for some angels whenever they can't make it to work. He can do a temporary visit to Earth and cover someone.
Yep.
Maybe he can stand in for the next person that might get
Yep.
shot at in Florida.
He's being a big opera aficionado. I'm going to make this even worse because we will send this to NBC, right? And he probably was like announcing the Metropolitan Opera, and they say, "Hey, you know what, Garrick? What the tenor got sick in La Traviata. Get up there and belt it out. I'm on it, Figaro, Figaro." He probably had to do that too.
I mean, this guy, he was on NBC Nightly News. He later worked for ABC News and CNN. So he didn't have any qualms about going to the left or to the right when it was. I mean, he was getting a check either way it goes. He reported it. I guess he reported the news as was written, and that was it.
Yeah.
And he didn't. I'm pretty sure he couldn't. He's like a substitute teacher.
Exactly.
Like you didn't really get a feel for the substitutes because they were only there temporary. You didn't build any loyalty to them. So he didn't have to have any loyalty to any particular station, I guess.
Yeah, he was just cool. Whoever's got a check, whoever gets to the phone first, 7:45 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. He probably had to have a beeper at one time or something like that. His life wasn't his own, but he worked for 40 years, man.
Yes.
So if you're sitting on your couch, be a temp.
Here's the thing. I'm not one of those that plan on being a temp or ever plan on being a fill-in. And as we know, I've been back and forth. I have to leave from one office to another office, and I'm all over town. I'm constantly driving, and there wasn't enough offices here in the studio, so I had to be brought a little closer, of course, so that I can be closer to the studios all the time and be able to get a lot of our contracts done and faster without having to drive 30 minutes out of the way. And I've just had the most arduous task. I did not know how expensive. I had forgotten. It had been so long since I had been in the market for office furniture. And I didn't realize how expensive office furniture had gotten.
Oh, yeah, it's up there.
It is expensive. And so, of course, I do all this research, and I go to the standard places, online where you go to the office whatever and the office whatever, and you look and you say, okay, what is it? And these pieces, and they're not even real oak, it's not even real wood, it's pressboard or whatnot, and it's going for thousands of dollars. So I switch over and see if I could find some local places, some local small businesses, and find some furniture that's, comparable and more reasonably priced, and even then I couldn't find anything reasonable. And I looked and I looked and I looked, but I finally got satisfied, and I'll actually mention that after the break and give you some details on that. But everybody will be happy to know, especially around the station and with Sam Group and the Sex and Money Show, that I'll be closer to the studio on a regular basis so that we can get those documents and paperwork and get our show production out faster.
Exactly. And we love it. We'll be down here in the Marbella Business Complex,
So, yes.
corner of Rainbow and West Sahara, right next to CarMax. We'll be here for you. And you know what we got to do? We got to have an office furniture drive, and this is what we'll do. If you love the Sex and Money Show, do you love the Sex and Money Show? Well, we're having a furniture drive. Call 731-1230 and say, I want to donate my gently used office furniture to the Sex and Money Show. We'll give you chomps on the air.
We'll give you chomps on here. I don't know
We
if we're
need
gonna.
desks.
I don't know if we're gonna. We need to go all out with that. I'll just have to go over to the pool, the secretarial pool, and steal some desks from over there. But nevertheless.
Oh God, there's nothing here worth stealing. You got to go to one of the other offices.
Go to another office.
You know what we could do? We could actually go to an insurance office or a real estate office because those places are cleaned out. They're all bankrupt. I mean, let's grab some of the stuff. We'll go to Mass Mutual or something like that. Ha ha ha.
Well, like I said, I've got the perfect place that I found, and I'll let our listeners know when we come back. But before we do go to break, we've got a few minutes. I did want to touch on something, and it's a little bit morbid, but it's the first year anniversary of a shooting that occurred last year on the Las Vegas Strip that led to the Fury crash and the loss of 3 lives. And around 4:30 a.m. last February 21st, in wee hours of the morning at the intersection of Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo, where they actually closed the old Dre's and moved it across the street to to Bally's, I think it is. 27-year-old man was shot in the chest by gunfire. He was driving down the street after an altercation. He was shot. Of course, when he was shot, he accelerated. He crashed his car into a cab, killing the driver and the passenger of the taxi. It killed Bolden, Michael Bolden, which was the driver of the taxi. It killed his passenger, 48-year-old Sandra Sutton Wasman, and she was from the Seattle area, actually, here visiting. I mean, she was here on business, I believe. Bolden's fiance, Beth Holtengren, I believe it is, they attended a vigil last night with family members behind some scaffolding because there's construction going on at the corner. And if you go to the corner of Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard, you'll probably still see some flowers or some candles. And in case you were wondering what they were there for, it was because of that horrible wee hours of the morning incident that occurred last year. And my condolences go out to the families of those that were killed, and I should say even assassinated in last year's incident. And of course, the person that has been arrested and been held in the Clark County Detention Center goes on trial. His trial starts in September. And then we wonder, I know a lot of callers, we get callers and they're going to ask, September, this happened a year ago, and yet the trial date is still scheduled for almost another year out. This is one of the things that I like to tell people. I says, listen, anything worth doing is worth doing right. Anything that is good for you or anything that's of any benefit takes time. And in this particular case, this trial, they need to cross their T's and dot their I's and not rush. When you rush to judgment, when you rush to prosecute, when you rush to arrest a suspect and don't investigate any other suspects, you have problems when you get to trial. And that's what our district attorneys are trying not to have a problem with. Sometimes it seems so obvious. It seems like, okay, we know who did it. We saw it. It's on video. We got witnesses. We did this. We did that. We saw the car, etc. But we can't rush to judgment, and we can't rush to just prosecute. So they're taking their time, and they want to get this one right. They don't want anybody slipping through the cracks. They don't want any slimy defense attorneys getting through loopholes and getting this guy off because 3 innocent people. Well, let me say this, and I'm going to be straightforward with this. 2 innocent people that we know of are dead. 1 may have just been a casualty of the war that was ensuing between the 2 that were having their dispute. So I'm not going to say all 3. I'm not going to be that person, because some people get it because they are involved in that lifestyle, and the guy that crashed the car may have been involved in a certain lifestyle that was the reason why he got shot. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, the hard thing is that and we go back to this, that the legal procedure, Miller, is so lengthy, so plodding, so ponderous, and people's perception of morality tends to be quicker. If you're a bad guy,
do it.
You should be hurt.
Yeah.
Do it.
Hey, you're a bad guy. You steal something. Let's go to India. Let's go somewhere. Just chop off his hand. If you commit murder and you're found guilty, when the judge says you're found guilty, the next day the cops should just come and shoot you in the head like they do in China. I mean,
exactly.
It's to our benefit and to our detriment. Our country is, we want to be fair. We want to make sure that it's better to have 100 guilty men go free than 1 innocent man behind bars or get life.
And that's the thing, that we want to protect that 1 innocent person. By the way, Miller, how many people, and now with DNA testing, better forensics, we're finding that a lot of people, thousands, that were guilty. I mean, you hear about it every day.
That not were guilty, but were convicted of a charge, or because they were charged with something, have been exonerated. They've been released from prison after 20 years. They've been released from prison after 10 years because DNA evidence has now exonerated them and said, well, their DNA wasn't anywhere there.
And then the real killer has been out for all these years, committing more crimes and getting away with it. What happens to a guy like, say, for example, I go to jail for 20 years, and I get out, and I'm 73 years old. What kind of a life do you have?
You don't have a life. And you know what's bad about it, too, is that people would say, oh, yeah, I'd sue, and I'm getting all these millions of dollars, because, no, doesn't really work like that. The only way you're going to be able to get some kind of, compensation for being in prison is if someone actually knowingly did, a government official even knowingly.
So there was a district attorney that bent the rules or bent the law to get his convictions, which I've seen in a number of these cases. District attorneys have been taken out of office and thrown in jail.
And it's got to be proven that they committed that offense, and it's got to be proven. They've got to be convicted of it, so you can turn around and use that conviction in your civil lawsuit. And the problem is, your lawsuit would more than likely only be against that district attorney and not necessarily the city or the county. And at that point, he doesn't have that kind of cash.
So if the police and the district attorney, the courts, and everyone else involved followed the law to the best of their ability, thought they were following the law, and they put an innocent man in jail. Nothing's going to happen.
No, you probably would not have a case.
If you found that the police juked the stats, fixed the evidence, the district attorney looked the other way to get a conviction, then you got them.
Then you may have a case, and you may have a case against the city, but it's going to, oftentimes are capped at certain numbers, too.
At a certain amount.
When we come back, we'll go into that a little bit more.
Yeah, let's talk more about that, because that's a hot subject, that balance between the two. We're going to take our first break. Sex and Money Show, KLAV, 1230 a.m. Las Vegas, rebroadcast on our sister station, VANR Vegas All Net Radio. We're going to take a short break and be back in a few.
Howdy, I'm Dr. G, the medicine man, Dr. Maurice Gregory, inviting you to our next Good Sex, Good Health event. Come enjoy great food, great drinks, good times, good friends, good information, while you learn the latest medical developments about good sex and good health. Come to our next Dr. G's Good Sex and Good Health event. Remember, good health is always sexy.
I'm Manhattan Miller, and I'm What Happens in Vegas. From Paris to London, New York to Las Vegas, whether I'm out on the town or at home with your significant other, two things are for sure. I'm old school Vegas, and I always drink Frankovich Manhattans, handcrafted in micro batches by Frankovich Distillers, Reno, Nevada. Enjoy Frankovich Manhattan cocktails responsibly. Available now at select Costco, Total Wine, and Walmart stores.
When faced with a legal matter, contact Legal Solutions to You. We are a multi-state network of the top attorneys available, specializing in a wide range of services, including
personal injury, immigration, bankruptcy, criminal matters, business matters, and many more.
Quality legal representation is essential. Our goal is to provide the best legal representation available.
Stop being a victim.
Call us toll-free 855-775-2928. That's 855-77-LAW-TO-YOU. Or visit us online at legalsolutions2you.com.
Hi, I'm Noah, host of the Legal Brief segment of the Sex and Money Show, where we will discuss the law of the land in a sexy, in-your-face manner.
Controversy with a Y, and he doesn't pull any punches.
From high noon to 1 p.m. on the Sex and Money Show.
And now, your sexy traffic report on the Sex and Money Show.
We have an accident clearing on I-215 in the airport connector. So if you're going towards the airport, watch out. It's going to be a little bit slow. We have an accident on Buffalo and Las Vegas, Vegas Drive. We have an accident on I-95 northbound in Eastern. We have one on Las Vegas Boulevard north of Sahara. We also have an accident on I-15 and Spring Mountain Road. There's one on the corner as well, Desert Inn and Valley View. We have an abandoned vehicle, Tropicana, Las Vegas Boulevard South Strip. I've got dibs. If it's a good car, leave it there. Also, we have a stalled vehicle. Somebody didn't get their tune-up. Highway 160, Las Vegas Boulevard South. How much you want to bet that's a pickup that stalled? Highway 160, Las Vegas Boulevard South. Sex and Money Traffic Report, KLAV, 1230 a.m., Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, we are the first authentic Japanese bistro established in 1967.
Enjoy a fine evening of jazz at Osaka Japanese Bistro's Henderson location, featuring the Naked Fish Band, offering 3 fine dining experiences, choosing from the sushi bar, the teppanyaki grill, and traditional tatami rooms, all at the same location.
Any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We are located at 10920 Southeastern Avenue, just past Horizon Ridge. Or visit our original location on West Sahara next to the Statue of Liberty.
We are back on the Sex and Money Show, KLAV 1230 AM Las Vegas, and rebroadcast on our sister station, VANR Vegas All Net Radio. Also here to take your calls at 702-731-1230, 731-1230. We have in studio today Len Connell, not in his bat phones, but with a shave, Primetime Tim. And we also have Legal Eagle Miller. And we were talking about the slow process of justice, but sometimes with the new evidence and new techniques, innocent people that have been wrongly convicted or found to have been released from prison.
Exactly. They're getting out, and rightfully so. I mean, it pains me to think that, can you imagine how many people have been incarcerated in the past wrongfully? Because when someone is alleged or accused of committing a crime, people jump to conclusion. I'm sorry, they do. They jump to conclusion. The media is no good with this. We are part of it, but I have a true to heart feeling, and I'm dedicated to doing my best in reporting it correctly and pointing out the errors that other journalists make in reporting it and making sure it's right. Well, listen, so that having been said, let's go to something that's good that occurred. Actually, this occurred last year.
Okay.
You had just mentioned that there was a stalled vehicle, maybe an abandoned vehicle here on the highway in Las Vegas. And, well, that occurred last September in Canada. But this wasn't any ordinary abandoned vehicle. This was a $200,000 Ferrari.
No kidding.
That was abandoned. Apparently, there was a flood. It was raining really bad, and the flood waters, and sometimes you pull up at an area and you can't go through, and the traffic behind you can't do anything. Well, it turns out that when the vehicle was towed by the police and everything, it turns out that the vehicle had been abandoned by a Canadian attorney who did not want to be late for his client's hearing.
I heard about that.
That is, and see, these are some, I like to point out some nice things every now and then, some good news. Everybody hates the lawyers out there, but I'd like to point out some good things about some lawyers. Lawyers do some things for their clients that that people don't know about, and people don't realize some of the sacrifices they make and some of the discounts even that they give just to make sure that he made it on time. He could have easily, because I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I would have left my $200,000 car in the road other than I would have got on a car phone and I would have called the clerk and said, I'm sorry, because of inclement weather, can I get a continuance or whatever the case? But this guy did not want to do that for the benefit of his client, because his client was probably incarcerated. Nobody wants to be sitting in jail just because your attorney has called in a continuance. And so I applaud this particular attorney. But on the plus side, the upside, he was gifted a brand new Ferrari from what company, and that's just talk about media coverage and publicity. But I will say this: that's something I don't know if I could do. I don't know if I'd leave my car, my $200,000 car, in the middle of the flood. But listen, I'm
dedicated guy. The laws are calling, and I think a lot of people really do believe, and they take themselves seriously as attorneys, and they understand the important role they have in society.
Well, thanks to
everybody needs one.
Thanks to I'm going to say this, thanks to the Las Vegas Assembly team. And I had promised the listeners that I would actually inform them as to, after searching forever, looking for good office furniture, reasonably priced, and it looks beautiful, I finally found the place, and that's Las Vegas Assembly team. You can actually call them at 702-750-6154. They're at 3401 West Sirius Avenue, Suite 24. Now, I'll tell you what I like about this place. One thing is this: these people are fast. They will assemble, they will deliver, they will, assist you in they'll measure it. They'll do everything they need to accommodate your needs, and they have everything from secretarials to executive size office desks and entire suites. And because there was such an urgency to me getting closer to the studio, and, when you're dealing with corporate and all that sort of thing, you got to wait weeks and weeks to get checks and issue funds and things of that nature. I needed something immediately. And I said, God, I called everywhere else, and they said, well, it's Friday. We can have it to you by Wednesday. Oh, it's Friday. We can order it on Monday, have it to you by next Monday. I talked to them over there at Las Vegas Assembly team this morning, and they said, hey, we could have it to you today. And I said, wow, you got to be kidding me. Okay, so this is the place to go, Las Vegas. If you're one of those attorneys out there listening, if you're somebody in the office and you're wondering, you got to furnish your office, give them a call over at Las Vegas Assembly Team. As a matter of fact, .com, and you can actually look at
so maybe we should talk to them about doing some sponsorship with us.
So,
because if they're out there and they're providing this office equipment and office furniture at the drop of a hat, and they're giving people good
very
service.
Reasonably priced, as a matter of fact.
We just happen to be the noon to 1 drive time show on a Lotus broadcasting station, so let's make sure that they get that opportunity.
I saw a $3,000 piece that was on sale for like $1,100. I saw a $2,000 piece that was on sale for $500. So they've got good stuff over there. So I have to throw that out there too.
I have never seen a $3,000 piece go for $1,100. You know, the only time is if you've known her for a very long time and you know she's not busy. The $3,000 piece will go for $1,200.
But she will not take American Express.
No, she won't. No, she won't. She doesn't want to pay the surcharge, you know, and don't write her a check either. I mean, that's not going to work. And that's a good way, you know, they have a say, you know, how do you make a hormone? Don't pay her by a check and have it bounce. I mean, that's how that works, you know.
Exactly.
So anyway, Tim, you're the man of the hour with the ladies. How you doing these days? You beating off women, or you know they're coming after you with
beating off women? Oh,
he's got troops of women after him. Actually, they see him, they're all over him, you know.
Actually, maybe he is beating them off. I don't know.
Tim, how you doing these days?
I'm doing good. Just beating off women left and right.
You know, I mean, every lady that comes into the studio, they take one look at Primetime Tim, and we got his pictures up on our social
we got
media.
somebody online, too, that says they were beaten off by Tim. Uh-oh. I'm not going to take that one.
You know,
stay on the line, and we'll get a producer to you as soon as possible, and we'll get you some discounts over at Las Vegas.
We'll send Tim over to handle you as soon as possible. But you know, I mean, this guy here, the women see him, and they just go into estrus. I mean, it's just like you never seen it. They start sweating.
I feel like you just make up words all the time. What is
estrus? Yeah, I caught it. Estrus.
You're the lawyer. You can look at
I'm like,
estrus.
What? Oh my goodness.
Estrus means shuddering orgasmically, getting into a heightened state of sexual passion. They call that estrus. And you know, estrus.
Hey,
right?
Here's another shameless one. Tim's a big guy. He's gonna need some sturdy furniture from Las Vegas assembly team to make that happen.
That's a segue right there.
That's a segue.
Yeah,
right
I wonder if they have like a Murphy bed they can put in the office, because I know that Tim's going to need one of those. I mean, those women are going to be like, "Look, who does this bed pull off from the wall?"
You know what?
I
guess I need a fainting couch in my office instead.
Do we get to get casting couches like that fold out into a bed or something like that?
I think there's a website called Casting Couch something.
There is.
It's a casting couch. Yeah, it's a porn website. Maybe they should get a special room, a video room, and call it casting couch something, and put it over there at the Horse or at Deja Vu or something, so that people can go online and watch the show live that way too.
Yeah. Now we can always go over to DV's Love Boutique, who is a sponsor of the Sex and Money Show, from Little Darlings and from Deja Vu Showgirls, and we can get all those sex toys and apparatus installed in free of charge.
They're over there in the stratosphere, right?
That's right.
They're in the stratosphere.
Yeah, they pay for the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Somebody told me.
Allegedly.
The Love Boutique's in the stratosphere. Somebody told me. But if you're heading to go to the tower, to go up into the tower, you're heading down the walkway. To the left is the direction you'd go to the tower, but to the right is the Love Boutique. So
that's right. It's a big
veer
place.
Veer right first, because if you veer right, you might not make it up to the tower.
Exactly. It's right on the second floor. Just go up the escalator, veer right. You'll see it right there, and they've got every single thing. And you look at some of that stuff and you go, how did somebody come up with this? I mean, that's one thing about our pals of the VU crew here who are here for 3 episodes of Sex Money Show.
Brilliant.
They come up with stuff, and I'm going, my God. And they look at me like, you don't know what this is? And I'm like, no, you have to explain it to me, you know. But amazing stuff. So anyway, we'll get that outfitted out, and we'll have a nice Sex and Money office here for the Sex and Money Show in the Marbella office complex. I guess we're going to have to get some of the soundproofing for the walls, you know, because we don't want to hear the moans and the whines going on, and you know, if the
listen. I work very professionally. I don't know about you, but I'm very professional. I'm very professional at what I do. I make sure that I don't want people just showing up thinking, you know, don't send a bunch of girls from the VU crew over to the office saying I'm gonna just knock out a contract real quick. I might knock something out, but not the contract.
Not the contract. You know, he knocks out our contracts. You know, that's you know, we were going to hire the Vestal Virgins, you know, but then they couldn't have them on because they broke their contracts the night before. So I mean, it's just one of those things. You gotta love that joke, you know. Are we having fun? You know.
Listen, when we come back, I want to give some updates. I want to give some updates on 2 particular trials and cases that, like I said before, I promised I would do. That's going to be obviously the popcorn shooting and the loud music shooting. All brought to you by the great Hanging Chad state of Florida.
The Dangling Chad state of
Florida. Or the
Florida.
wild west, southeast, I don't know what you'd call it.
Neil Bush, governor. Wonder how he got in. Well, let's do this. Let's go to the halfway break here at the Sex and Money Show, KLAV 1230 AM Las Vegas, and rebroadcast on our sister station, VANR Vegas All Net Radio. Going to take a short break and back in a few.
You know what Ganoderma is. Let's get you on a safe, effective, natural, integrated approach to weight control, pain management, and your best health. Maybe I can help. Call me, Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center, and start living.
Hey, what you doing?
I'm logging on to the Vegas AllNet Radio website to hear last week's episode of The Sex and Money Show.
Ooh, hear past episodes of The Sex and Money Show, Mondays from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. to 11.
Wasn't last week's episode good?
It was so good.
The Sex and Money Show rebroadcast, streaming on VegasAllNetRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Miller of M&A Legal Management. We are committed to providing high-quality services and customer satisfaction.
M&A Legal Management provides business concierge-level services, combining all the unique services of executive representative, personal assistant, personal agent, and more.
Business startup packages beginning at $49. We do patents, trademarks, divorces, and court filings too, and customized legal research starting at our $19.99 hourly rate.
We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. Call M&A Legal Management at 888-449-5841 or visit us online at www.localbusinessservices.us.
When faced with a legal matter, contact Legal Solutions to You. We are a multi-state network of the top attorneys available, specializing in a wide range of services, including
personal injury, immigration, bankruptcy, criminal matters, business matters, and many more.
Quality legal representation is essential. Our goal is to provide the best legal representation available.
Stop being a victim.
Call us toll-free 855-775-2928. That's 855-77-LAW-TO-YOU. Or visit us online at LegalSolutionsToYou.com.
Julia Sarah Boutique for the best in upscale fashions at affordable prices. Choose from a wide selection of dresses, gowns, jackets, boots, shoes, and more. Ladies and gentlemen's fashions available. Whatever your personal style, Julia Sarah Boutique has everything you need to look your best. Call 888-449-5841 or like us on Facebook for special promotions and invitations.
The weather for the weekend gonna be, will it be hot, cold, rain, snow?
And now, your sexy weather report on the Sex and Money Show.
Currently at KLAV, it is 61 degrees under partly sunny skies. We're going to have an afternoon high of 66 and an overnight low of 43. Tomorrow we're going to have beautiful sunny skies and the temperature's going up. We have a high of 71 and a low of 46. Sunday, the same thing with a high of 74 and a low of 46. We have 12% humidity and no wind at all. It's going to be beautiful, sunny, long-term forecast. We have clouds coming back on Tuesday. Sex and Money Weather Report, KLAV, 12:30 a.m., Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, we are the first authentic Japanese bistro established in 1967.
Enjoy a fine evening of jazz at Osaka Japanese Bistro's Henderson location, featuring the Naked Fish Band, offering 3 fine dining experiences, choosing from the sushi bar, the teppanyaki grill, and traditional tatami rooms, all at the same location.
Any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We are located at 10920 Southeastern Avenue, just past Horizon Ridge. Or visit our original location on West Sahara next to the Statue of Liberty.
We are back on the Sex and Money Show, KLAV 1230 AM Las Vegas, and rebroadcast on our sister station, VANR Vegas AllNet Radio. We're also welcoming our streaming online visitors to www.1230am.com. Also inviting us to Skype in your text comments at KLAV 1230 AM. Our lines are also open, 702-731-1230. That's 731-1230. We are in studio today with Len Connell, not in his bat phones, but he's got to shave. Primetime Tim. And we have Legal Eagle Miller. Take it away.
So I promised our listeners that when we came back, I would update them on two particular trials or cases that are making the media out of Florida, as
Florida.
I hope his
Home of the
media
dangling
people.
chads.
Hope I don't get a cease and desist for associating Florida with these shootings. But so nobody out there, no, Florida has not been involved in any shootings. I'm just saying they're coming out of Florida. Well, one in particular is, I'll brief you, is the Michael Dunn case, and this is the guy, and I always say gentleman or gentle lady or whatever, that was arrested in Jacksonville, Florida. In May, well, not in May, but he was arrested in Jacksonville, Florida. Mr. Dunn, 47. He has been convicted of 3 counts of second-degree attempted murder and firing a weapon into a vehicle. Now, this is the guy that said that the music, his girlfriend or fiance said that the music was a little too loud and she didn't like that kind of music. Something escalated. We don't know what, but something escalated, and he fired because he claims that he felt threatened. Now, the trial is over with. The initial trial is over with. But as I stated last week, when this case went into deliberations, and similar to what happened in last year with Zimmerman in Florida, again, I said, I think he's been overcharged because the elements of first-degree murder, he was charged with first-degree murder, and he was charged with the additional accounts of attempted murder and firing a weapon into a vehicle. The problem was clear. I said, I analyzed this, and I said, they're going to go out, and the jury's going to come back, and they're going to have a problem. They deliberated Thursday. They deliberated Friday. They deliberated into Saturday. But on Friday, while we were on air live, they were asking, the jury, we're asking, can we make a decision on some of it, but not the others? And of course, the instructions came back from the judge, yes, you can. So Saturday, they come back from deliberations with answers, with a decision. And Friday night, I said, but that decision will not include a first-degree murder charge because it can't. I'm pretty sure about it. So on Saturday, they came back with 3 guilty verdicts on attempted murder, but no decision on first degree. What that does, ladies and gentlemen, is that makes it so that, one, they're hung on the first-degree murder charge. Now, I'll give you a little information, and I'll just make it real simple for those of you that don't know. And you can also go to the Judge M. Joseph Miller II Facebook page. You can find it on the Sex and Money Show Facebook page. It's posted up there. Here's what it takes to convict on a first-degree murder charge in Florida. 1, a victim has to be dead. 2, the deaths have to occur as a consequence of and while the defendant was engaged in the commission of a crime, allegedly. Or the death occurred as a consequence of and while the defendant was attempting to commit a crime. Or, one more or on the second count, or the death occurred as a consequence of and while the defendant or an accomplice was escaping from the immediate scene of an alleged crime. That, all of those or one of those have to be in there to convict on the first-degree murder charge. And the third element of the first-degree murder charge, and keep it in mind, this is only in Florida, because every state has slightly different elements of a first-degree murder. A third would be the defendant was the person who actually killed the victim, which, here we have it. And the defendant, not the actual perpetrator, was killed by a person other than the defendant, but the defendant and the person who killed the victim were principals in the commission. So you don't have to be the person that actually commits the crime to get charged with first-degree murder. You can be what everybody knows as an accessory. Lynn, you could be with me.
That's right.
Let's put it this way. O.J. Simpson is in jail in Nevada, not because he was carrying a weapon during the commission of a crime, but because he was with someone that was carrying a weapon during the commission of a crime or escaping the crime. So this is why I said on Friday of last week they can't get the guy, because number one, we do know the victim is dead, but we have to determine whether or not he's a victim or not. Let's assume he is. He's dead. So they've got one. But 2, as a consequence of a crime, meaning Dunn would have had to have his weapon out illegally and attempting to do something illegal. Now, of course, the illegal part would be shooting someone, right? But what we don't understand is this. You can do that if it's self-defense. The problem with this, and, I can understand why they couldn't get him on first degree. But when I heard the defense attorney in that trial, Dunn's attorney himself, say that his client didn't want to wait until something happened. He didn't want to be like Zimmerman. He didn't want to wait until something happened. I don't want to wait until something happened. My client didn't want to wait until something happened. That tells me that he wasn't in any danger yet. Which means if he wasn't in any danger yet, I can't just go whipping out my weapon because you look like you might sort of possibly shoot me. If that's the case, every time I saw somebody that worked for the IRS coming by, I'd probably shoot him. I mean, because I think they might want to hurt me. So we can't do that. So I don't understand why they didn't get him on that first degree charge after that statement just by his defense attorney alone. But I knew that they wouldn't get him on first degree just because of that same problem. So it was a wash there. So they're going to retry this guy, though. They're not letting him off so easily. Prosecutors are retrying Michael Dunn in May. And when they retry him, I don't think I would be hard-pressed to believe that they're going to try and retry him again on first-degree murder. They just want to get him, because he's already, 3 convictions of attempted murder could get him 60 years in prison easy, because they're 20-year sentences for each attempted murder. And what people don't understand, and I'm going to tell you now, is when you get convicted, you've just been convicted of those crimes. But you have another hearing called a sentencing hearing. So now he has to go through another phase just on the 3 charges that he's been convicted of, where a decision has to be made as to how much time he's going to have to serve of the possible 60 years. The judge could come back and say, you get 5 on each count, 5, 10, 15, which means he'll serve a minimum of maybe 2.5 on each of those, 2, 4, 6. He could be out in 8. Or the judge may just throw the book at him and say, you know what, 20 years on all counts. And, then let's face it, he's going to serve like almost half of that term. Run it concurrently, whatever. But so I promised I'd let our listeners know what was going on in that particular case. And there you have it. If you agree with that sentence, if you agree with that verdict, let us know. Call in live, 702-731-1230.
Because there's a big difference between the legal procedure, like I always say, what I like about having you on the shows on Fridays to go through these things, is that the standards have to match the legal standards. Just because you don't like a person or he looks guilty. And sometimes I think, too, Miller, physical evidence, meaning what I see, witnesses and bystanders of a crime, what they really believe in their heart happened, might be subject to interpretation.
Right. And it might not even make it to trial. I mean, a witness could say, I believe I saw this or I saw that. For example, the defendant in this case, this is a problem I have. I have a major problem with Dunn. Dunn says, and he says he believed a dangerous or a deadly weapon was presented or brought out or whatnot. My question is this. Okay, fine. Let's say you did believe that they had a deadly weapon. Well, what did you think they had? What did it look like even? If I thought someone had a deadly weapon, I either thought it was a gun or I thought it was a bat or a knife or something. I don't just say, I thought it was a deadly weapon. Well, what is my definition of what a deadly weapon is? Was it sharp corners on a cardboard? I mean, what is it? So at least give me something. I don't recall in that trial anyone saying, well, I thought he had a gun, or it looked like all I ever heard was it looked like he had a deadly weapon.
Here's the thing, too. Say, for example, Miller, a person's guilty of a murder and they're in a state where the death penalty can be used. Why does it take so long to execute somebody? There are people that are on death row 10 or 20 years.
You have to exhaust all of those appeals. You have a right to appeal. You see, what happens in these trials is this. You'll see on television, and most people understand the court system by watching Judge Judy or TV.
Exactly,
or something.
the TV judges.
And they're completely inaccurate in that nobody has a case where they can sit there and argue back and forth with a judge, number one. Not even the attorneys, okay? But what happens is when you're convicted of a crime, you have a certain amount of time to appeal. 30 days, that sort of thing. And you appeal on grounds such as, a counsel may have said objection to something, or believe that the court made an error, believe that the judge made an error, believe that something was in error, and they cite those. It goes up for review, and it could take months for the review because there are so many cases up for appeal. It has to be reviewed, and there's all these timelines that everybody has to abide by.
And the taxpayers paying to have these people sequestered. Now, if in Nevada we had an appellate court system, which we don't, would it help us?
You know what? I don't think the state's big enough to warrant one, and then it's not big enough to warrant one. But when we do come back, I'll give you an example. We'll talk a little bit more about that because I'd like to talk about that because that's a controversial issue here in the state of Nevada. Let's go to our break. Sex and Money Show, KLAB 1230 AM Las Vegas, and rebroadcast on our sister station, VANR Vegas All Net Radio. We're going to take a short break and be back in a few. I'm Manhattan Miller, and I'm What Happens in Vegas. From Paris to London, New York to Las Vegas, whether I'm out on the town or at home with your significant other, two things are for sure. I'm old school Vegas, and I always drink Frankovich Manhattans, handcrafted in micro batches by Frankovich Distillers, Reno, Nevada. Enjoy Frankovich Manhattan cocktails responsibly. Available now at select Costco, Total Wine, and Walmart stores.
Do you suffer from androgen deficiency? Some symptoms of androgen deficiency include reduced body and facial hair, loss of muscle mass, infertility, increased breast size, feeling irritable or depressed, poor concentration. Get tested for androgen deficiency. Call Dr. G, Dr. Maurice Gregory, at 702-822-1356 for a consultation. That's Dr. G at 822-1356, 822-1356.
The Cool Trade, the next generation of automated stock trading. Cool Trade is a 100% point-and-click robotic trading system. Cool Trade levels the playing field and allows you to trade at home the same way as the traders at major financial institutions. Don't worry, our software is easy to learn and easy to use. No one can predict what stocks will do, but we do know that they'll go up and down. Cool Trade is designed to trade the market for you and has the ability to make profits either way. Whether you're new to online investing, an experienced investor, or an active trader, Cool Trade is all you need to succeed. It's time to regain confidence in the market and join the robotic trading revolution. Take action today.
Call M&A Legal Management at 888-449-5841 or visit us online at www.anybodytrade.com.
Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade do not make, buy, sell, or hold recommendations. Unique experiences and past performances do not guarantee future results. Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade are software-related companies and are not licensed broker-dealers. Investing in the stock market can be considered high risk, and participants should consult with their financial advisors regarding risk and suitability.
At Your Service Cleaning Services is a family-owned business,
providing you the best in punctual, thorough, and respectful residential and commercial cleaning services.
Our staff is uniformed, licensed, and bonded. We are able to provide Rust services, and we supply all cleaning materials and equipment.
Call 888-449-5841. That's 888-449-5841.
And now, your sexy traffic report on the Sex and Money Show.
Okay, guys, it's getting kind of slow in the Valley as we end our lunch hour here in the Las Vegas Valley. We have an accident on East Flamingo and Maryland Parkway. We still have that abandoned vehicle on West Tropicana, Las Vegas Boulevard, south between the I-15. I get dibs if it's a good car. If it's a Ferrari, don't touch it, all right? I'm coming to get it. Desert Inn and Valley View, we still get that accident there. Hopefully nobody from Channel 13 is involved, but they're probably covering it. That's where their office is. And also, I-15 northbound, the Sahara off-ramp. Do you know, folks, that there are 22 accidents at the intersection of I-15 and Sahara? Sex Money Traffic Report, KLAB 1230 AM, Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, we are the first authentic Japanese bistro established in 1967.
Enjoy a fine evening of jazz at Osaka Japanese Bistro's Henderson location, featuring the Naked Fish Band, offering 3 fine dining experiences, choosing from the sushi bar, the teppanyaki grill, and traditional tatami rooms, all at the same location.
Any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We are located at 10920 Southeastern Avenue, just past Horizon Ridge. Or visit our original location on West Sahara next to the Statue of Liberty.
We are back on the Sex and Money Show, KLAV 1230 AM Las Vegas, and rebroadcast on our sister station, VANR Vegas All Net Radio. Ready to take your calls at 702-731-1230. That's 731-1230. In fact, we have a caller, Diana. Welcome to KLAV. You're on the air.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, this is addressed to Mr. Miller. Can he hear me?
Sure can.
I'm right here, Diana.
Oh, you know what? On this one with this store thing, the shooting at the store.
The gas station shooting.
Yes.
The loud music shooting.
Well,
Michael
whatever.
Dunn.
Yes, sir. Okay. Look, could I please ask my question, please?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, didn't he already get sentenced already?
No, he's been convicted. He was charged with first-degree murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Last week, he was convicted of 3 counts of attempted murder. However, the jury could not make a decision on first-degree murder. And so...
But for those 3, whatever you said...
The attempted murder charges that he was convicted
Did he already
of.
get sentenced for that?
No. He's not been... That is a completely different hearing, and it's almost like a mini retrial. Where they then go back and they argue reasons why he shouldn't get the maximum. He should get his defense is going to ask for the minimum, whereas the prosecution is going to ask for the maximum. And they're going to.
What possibly could be the minimum?
The minimum could be that the judge throws it out. I mean, judges have that discretion. The judge can say, okay, I'll give you 1 year on each one. If they're not mandatory minimums, some states and some crimes have what they call mandatory minimums, which means if these 3 accounts had mandatory minimums of 5 years each up to 20 years each, then the least the judge could give would be 5 years on each count, which would be 15 years. I don't believe this is a mandatory minimum case, and so therefore the judge could give them 1 year each, which would only be 3 years. Or
One more question before they take me off.
Yes.
Are they going to go back to the same courtroom and same judge?
More than likely, yes. More than likely the same judge.
Do you think it would be better if they would change venue?
Well, you'd have to have a good reason. They call it show cause for change of venue. They're saying that maybe the judge is biased, or maybe the judge had a kid that was shot in the car as well. But in that case,
do you think they'll be using the same jury?
Jurors? Normally on deciding the sentence, the jury doesn't make that decision. That's something that the judge would make.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
Diana, thank you so much for calling in, and we hope to hear from you again soon. You take care.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Hey, we had an interesting show today, a lot of legal issues there, and I love having you in every Friday because we find out whether the standard of the law applies, and we always get some interesting answers from you, Miller, because sometimes what I think the press is going to make happen doesn't happen, and there's good legal reasoning around it.
Right, and I like to call them out when they screw up, when they put something out in the media that isn't what happened.
And I also want to thank you for your efforts with Frankovich Distillers, who are a renewing sponsor of the Sex and Money Show. They make those great Manhattans that we're getting all over town, and we're definitely going to be doing more with them as our relationship deepens with them. Moving along as far as that. Also, we got a big lineup next week. We have Monday through Friday, noon to 1 p.m. on the Sex and Money Show. We got our nighttime shows. We Own the Night on Vegas All Net Radio, Wednesdays from 8 to 9 for our internet audience. Tuesday from 9 to 10, we have the Sex and Money After Hours show, and then we have on KLAV U&J, right?
Yes.
7 to 8.
Tuesdays, happy hour, prime time at 7 to 8 p.m. The happy hour with the Cravat Pack.
This is the place to be.
Thanks for stopping by.
We'll be back Monday from noon to 1 p.m. on the Sex and Money Show. Stay tuned for KLAV 1 to 2. We have Pulse on Politics with Christine DeCourt, Financial Fridays following that with Leonard Wright, CFP, Home Sweet Home with Leslie Lovell, and then the Staying Healthy Show with my good friend Jeffrey Burke. This show will be rebroadcast from 10 to 11 p.m. on VANR Vegas All Net Radio for a worldwide internet audience. Say goodbye, everybody.
Have a good night.